Hello and welcome to the D365 Insights podcast brought to you by Source and Connect. Today is our 10th episode, Smarter, Not Harder, AI Leadership and Life After Corporate with Jawad. Jane and I met several years ago when she was the Transformation Program Manager on a Dynamics implementation. Jane has got more than 20 years experience leading high impact business transformations for some of the most successful companies in the world. Welcome, Jane. Really, really pleased to have you on the podcast.
Thank you, Sarah. Great to be here.
So if we dive straight into it, then Jane, for those who don't know you yet, can you tell us a bit about who you are and your background in tech and transformation?
Yeah, sure. So you gave me a great intro already. But yeah, I've been doing business transformation, digital transformation for the last couple of decades. Can't believe it's been that long. It's gone very quickly. But yeah, my background is leading transformations for businesses, and a strong element of that is definitely using technology to deliver the transformation. And Dynamics 365 has definitely been one of those solutions that I've worked with. But I have worked across platforms across those sort of 2 decades, and so I'm sort of I try and harness technology in whatever way to transform businesses. And my background is really sort of a combination of finance, digital strategy, and business strategy, really. So I'm quite sort of versed in a number of different areas, really.
Fantastic, thank you. So you've had a long and successful career leading enterprise transformation. What made you decide to step away from corporate life?
Great question. So for me, it's something, to be honest, I've always wanted to do is have my own thing. And the corporate world is fantastic. I think foundation. It's, you get loads of wonderful learning experiences in working in that world. But for me, it was really just kind of being able to kind of shape it in the way that I wanted, and also kind of, choose the projects I want to do, the clients I want to work with, and hopefully, as part of that, try and make a sort of a tangible business to all the companies that I work with, really. So it's just, getting a little bit more control and doing it in my own sort of way, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was the biggest mindset shift you had to make in moving from structured delivery roles to building something of your own?
It's a big shift, actually. I mean, I think they say running your own business is the ultimate self-development class, which I would 100% agree with at this point.
Absolutely.
So yeah, yeah, I know you've had the same experiences too. So for me, it's I think when you're in the corporate world, you're used to having all the sort of the brand for a start behind you. You've got all the teams in place that might be doing the marketing, finance, whatever, really end to end. You've got different teams around you, and it's the shift of actually now you've got to think about everything end to end, really. So yeah, wearing many different hats, which is it's a big challenge. And I think depending on what your experience is, you go through different areas of learning. And certainly for me, it's been quite a steep learning curve, particularly on the marketing side, which was an area that was always sort of taken care of. So I've had to get my head around that, but it's been fun, and something that at some point I'll probably spend more time delegating out.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
for now,
absolutely.
it's baptism of
I,
fire.
yeah, I can definitely relate. I tell friends and family it's like working three roles in one. And exactly that, until you kind of build momentum, you can't, you've got to do everything, haven't you? And marketing is one of the biggest ones and takes up a lot of time, but it's also really important. So you've got to factor in the time to do it as well as
Yeah,
then delivering when you pick up the work. So yeah, can completely relate.
yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely a skill in itself, that's for sure.
yeah, yeah. So looking back at your early consulting days, what do you wish someone had told you before you started?
I think a big thing for me, and I kind of, I guess, always appreciated this, but your network is super important. Like,
Mm,
genuinely, who makes a huge difference, and particularly when you're starting out, it is those that trust you, know you, that are going to help you sort of get off, start and get off the ground, quite honestly. So yeah, it's super duper important, I think, and I think that's something that certainly over time, you obviously, increase your network naturally. But I think in this particular context, it's really sort of highlighted the importance of that to me.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So moving on to the SME Innovation Network, you founded the SME Innovation Network to support small and mid-sized businesses. Can you tell us more about this and what the driving force is behind that?
Yeah, so we created the SME Innovation Network more out of seeing a bit of a gap in the market. So a lot of small, medium-sized businesses just don't have access to kind of the sort of consulting sort of grade expertise that a lot of the larger companies have, and a lot of that's driven by combination of affordability and often just even accessibility as well. So we have created it as a community that effectively just brings together a vetted group of partners who we trust, know will give great advice, but allows those partners to work with many different businesses and give them advice in a multitude of areas, whether that be customer experience or AI, automation, cybersecurity, really anything that we think that they would need to kind of innovate their business and also at the same time create a community where they've got somewhere to come and gain confidence in how they can potentially sort of move their businesses forward and yeah, really just kind of have that safe space, get access to the right expertise, have people that are going to hold their hand in the journey, and hopefully as well inspire them to kind of, see what's possible and take their businesses forward, really. So it came as a slight evolution. It wasn't quite enough something that we started planned to do, but there definitely seems to be a need, and we really want to help businesses have access just to the right support.
That's amazing. Thank you. So, what are some of the most common patterns or blockers you see when SMEs try to scale?
So the first one that comes to mind is really just having scalable processes, ways of working. I think, as we were just talking about with our own experiences, I think initially businesses kind of it's quite an organic. You're sort of creating as you go, really. But when you want to scale your business, the structure becomes a lot more important because you're bringing in more people. There's a need to have more repeatability and more consistency in how you want to kind of ensure that the quality is good for the customers, but also so that your teams know how to operate as well. So that's a big one. I think it's that sort of standardization of ways of working and even documentation of it is yeah, it's quite foundational. And then also I think just from an automation perspective, a lot of it tends to be quite manual. It's all sort of, written down, hidden in spreadsheets. It's a bit, yeah, ad hoc to say the least. So they're, I think, the big ones that we see. And yeah, plenty of scope to make it a lot easier for businesses.
Yeah, definitely. So, AI and automation are huge talking points right now. Where do you see real impact for SMEs, and where do you think the hype distracts from what actually matters?
So yeah, I think it's a really interesting point in time because it for me it's a massive leveler for businesses and from my experiences of working with big corporates, I mean they often have multi-million, even billion-dollar budgets for some of these things. So it's phenomenal the amount of money that goes into this. But for, SMEs, that often is obviously just a mile away from where they're at. But with AI, the reality is that a lot of the tools that have come on the market, in around about March this year, there was 35,000 different products already on the market.
Wow.
And that's sort of doubling every 6 months, which is phenomenal pace. And you'll see that sort of consolidate and things sort of fall away, the ones that, won't necessarily reach, make the cut, as it were. But I think for SMEs, it's just making technology much more affordable, and it isn't always just AI. It's also sometimes just automation that's needed. But it's a
Hmm.
great leveler, and I think for our own businesses, if it wasn't for a lot of this technology coming on the line, it just wouldn't be possible to kind of do what we're doing. And certainly with our own business, we've 100% embraced it. And if I'd have tried to do this even just a few years ago, I just don't think it would be possible to achieve what we have been able to. And yeah, it's just unbelievable how much of an advantage it gives you, and like wholeheartedly encourage businesses just to embrace it because yeah, it really does just sort of supercharge everything that you do. And I feel quite fortunate to be sort of coming into this at the right time, really. And yeah, I think it's great. I think from a hype perspective, so I think naturally, as people, we all want the latest, shiniest things, and sometimes that isn't actually what you need. Sometimes you just going back to basics on, quite honestly, basic automation versus having AI is often what is needed before you get to the AI element. And often businesses are just lacking the sort of basic foundation before they can even do the AI aspect of it. So yeah, I think it's making sure you've got a real use case there that's going to solve a real problem for you before you sort of bring in tools, because sometimes you can spend a fortune on subscriptions that you just don't need or won't get the value out of. So it's been quite pragmatic as to what do you need from a business perspective to run effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really good advice. So how do systems like D365 play into this journey for SMEs, especially those looking to grow or exit?
So Dynamics is a fantastic sort of mid-market solution, and obviously, given it's backed by Microsoft, it means that it's always been constantly getting updated, and it connects really well into sort of the Microsoft suite of products. For me, I think the beauty of Dynamics is that it gives you that sort of 365 view of your business, literally, and finance, sales, operations are all under one sort of roof, which gives you end-to-end visibility of how your business is running. It also drives in good sort of structure and ways of working. So it's a fantastic platform to kind of just bring it all together, really, and it really does suit sort of mid-market level really well. And it's also very customizable, which can be a good and bad thing, but it's very versatile.
Fantastic. So moving on to female leadership in tech, one of my favorite subjects. What has your experience been like as a female leader in a highly technical, often male-dominated space?
So something, to be honest, I've never been that aware of, largely
Hmm.
because I actually really enjoy working with men. I think they're really straight talking, you know where you
Yeah,
are, and quite honestly, that's quite similar to how I am as a person. So for me, it just
yeah,
feels completely natural to work with loads of men, and
yeah,
something I just have never even thought, oh, I'm the only woman in the room.
yeah. That's good.
So probably says a lot more about me than anything. But yeah, for me, I think no, I thoroughly enjoy working with guys, and they're,
Yeah,
for me, I appreciate the directness, and there's never any ambiguity. It's just straight
yeah,
talking, which is definitely more my preferred way of being as well.
brilliant. So have there been any moments where you felt you had to lead differently or show up differently because you're a woman?
Honestly, no. And again, this is probably a bit of a personality thing, but I truly believe that it's important to just be your authentic self. And
Yeah,
I do have very high standards, and I do, really believe like the sky's the limit. It's just only you that's limiting yourself. And
yeah,
so I genuinely, that's kind of my core value set, and then everything else is just a problem that I've got to solve to get whatever I need to get done. And when it comes to teams, I'm all about sort of giving people the resources and opportunities they need to kind of thrive. And for me, if everyone is allowed to be their authentic self and plays to their own strengths, then really that's the way you're going to get a high performing team. And that for me
yeah,
is the most important thing, really.
yeah, absolutely. And that's really positive to hear because there are some women out there, obviously, that don't feel that way. So it's really lovely to hear that and at your level as well. So how would you describe your leadership style today, and how has that evolved over time?
I think naturally you get more confident with experience, and I've at this point I've been through lots of very challenging times and also some fantastic times as well. But all of it, in the end, it's going to be okay, and that kind of
Mhm.
gives you confidence that no matter what's thrown in front of you, it's going to be all right. But I think my leadership style, I would say, is I use what they call situational leadership, where I can be very hands-on if I think the situation needs it. And that could be because it's, a lot of intricacies, it's super critical, and it's getting a lot of visibility, the world's watching. Or sometimes I just complete reverse of that, where I just completely go the other way, and I just have complete trust and just know that the team's capable and they're going to be okay. And as long as I get, regular updates, I leave them to kind of just do what they need to do, really. So I do really sort of take it into consideration what the situation is and then adjust accordingly. And I think
Mm,
when I was younger, I probably would have been a bit more sort of micromanagement-y, and that's largely just because of, not necessarily having the confidence that everything was going to be okay. But I've just kind
mm.
of learned to just trust and let things, let people do what they need to do, really.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So what advice would you give to women stepping into leadership roles in transformation or technology?
So the truth is, I think with transformation, it's an incredibly tough, hard, but sort of fast-paced space. But that makes it like
Mm,
very challenging, but incredibly interesting, and I love it because it's sort of yeah, no day is the same. It's you can move mountains quite literally, and it's very like it's amazing what you can achieve at the end of it. So I thrive on that kind of challenge, and I
yeah.
think anyone that enjoys a space is tends to have that sort of same sort of outlook on things. But I think for women in particular, I think it's again it's just being your authentic self, having confidence in who you are. It's really important to be you,
Yeah.
and each and every one of us have got our own sort of unique style, our own strengths, and it's really important to harness that. I think the worst thing you can do to someone is not let them be themselves because you just
Mm,
won't get the best out of them. And so
yeah.
I think for women, I think there was that whole trying to sort of mirror how a man would work. It just doesn't work because
Yeah.
it's not in total alignment with who we are. Um,
Mm,
and so I think it is just, be you. You don't have to be anything else. You just got to be you. And harness that. And the reality is, men and women, the world works because there's both of us. We've got completely different balancing strengths and weaknesses, and
mm,
together we're, much, much stronger, really. And
absolutely.
and that's how it works well. Yeah,
Yeah.
is everyone being them.
Yeah. And that's important. That's why it's important to have inclusive teams as well, isn't it? Because you've got, the strengths and weaknesses from both sides, and not just with gender, but all kinds of different, yeah, inclusive. I can't remember what the word is. I'll cut that out. Um, so building a business as a new mum, you've taken on a lot in the last year, not just professionally, but personally. How has becoming a mum changed the way you lead and build your business?
So I would have always said that I'm always very efficient, but it's taken it to a whole nother level,
Yeah.
which I didn't even know was possible.
Hmm.
But yes, I'm super duper ruthless prioritization. And I'm definitely usually juggling about five things at once. So my multitasking is taken
Yeah.
another level, which admittedly means that I'm not 100% present, well, 100% present with everything that I'm doing.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's like totally required to kind of get through the sheer volume of stuff that has to be done. But I think alongside prioritization, it's also, yeah, just, you know, embracing the situation and knowing that this is where you're at right now, and you have to kind of be kind to yourself because you just can't do everything. And
Yeah.
also, I think just managing expectations of those around you, and yeah, just being okay with that. And yeah, it's a lot, and it's okay to say that it is a lot because actually there's a lot of people in the same boat, really.
Yeah, definitely. I find that being honest and upfront with people, can be clients, can be candidates, actually does me much better than if I was to try and hide it. With ourselves, Jane, we were meant to record on Monday and I was kept up all night. So I said to you just honestly, let's reschedule. And I just think it's important that we're human beings, and just to be able to say this isn't working for me today for whatever reason. So yeah, and it goes back to your point about being yourself in your team as well, as a female or as a mum. So
Yeah.
let's talk about energy and capacity. What boundaries have you had to put in place to make this work?
Um, so I don't try and do as much probably outside of work as I used to. I genuinely sort of yeah have to just really, really prioritize what is important, whether that's sort of work related or sort of home related.
Mm,
And I've just sort of scaled back my expectations of what what I can do has been a big thing. And
yeah,
also I'm quite happy to kind of get help as well. So if I think I can delegate something, I will. I'll find a way. And as I mentioned earlier, I've massively harnessed AI
yeah,
through necessity as much as anything. And that's been an absolute lifesaver because I can get done probably, at times what would have taken me 2 months to do in probably like, half a day, which is just
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
And thank goodness, quite honestly.
yeah,
So, so yeah, so
absolutely.
I'm definitely all for leveraging everything.
Yeah. I've got really good at just saying no as well
Yeah, that's
to
good
things.
too.
No, I can't do that. It's just,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I used to be a bit more of a people pleaser and I would always go to everything, but now I'm just like, no, I can't do that. I've
yeah,
just got too
yeah,
much
yeah.
on.
Limit, yeah.
Um, so do you think we talk enough about the emotional load of building a business and raising a family at the same time?
No, not at all. I think if you even split it down into those two respective things, I don't think we talk about either topic enough.
Mm,
And the business bit alone is huge. And I know there's a lot of people that do it. There is an element of sharing of that kind of stuff on, social media and all those kind of things. But truly, I mean, until you do it, you don't really know what you're letting in yourself in for, which is probably a good thing because better to go
yeah,
in blind and just have to get on with it. But similarly, I think with like parenthood, I mean, even if people tell you, I don't think you could possibly understand until you're in it. And
no,
I genuinely feel like I should be apologizing to all women that worked with me prior to me having my daughter, because I'm like, God, I really had no idea how hard
yeah,
this was.
yeah. I
So,
used to manage a girl, and she might even listen to this and know it's her, but she used to manage to get to the office. She had two children at two different, so one was at school, one was at nursery, and she would always be there on time. And I always just used to look at her and just think, how do you do that? Because I struggled to get here on time with no kids. But now I really understand. And people do say, oh, it's really hard. And you go, yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, it is hard. And I've not been a stranger on social media with saying how difficult it has been. My 3-year-old still wakes me up all the time. Mm, but I do think that people don't talk about it enough. And there is that kind of element on LinkedIn, especially as a new business, you want to put out all the positivity and
mm,
everything that's going really well. But I do make an effort to try and put the occasional personal post with struggles of sleeping because I think people buy from people that they like and they can relate to, and I think that that's really important. But I definitely don't think people do it enough, for sure.
yeah, I think so. I think also you can often be sort of expected to put on a bit of a mask in its some ways it's a bit of a British thing of a stiff upper lip,
Yeah,
which certainly I was brought up with.
yeah,
But actually that doesn't do any favors at all. It doesn't do anyone any favors. So
it doesn't.
yeah, it's better to show all sides of the picture because the truth is I think most people are in the same boat in some form or another,
Yeah,
and we're all
absolutely.
human at the end of the day.
Yeah. I always just think, oh gosh, but people must say like, oh, Sarah's posting about parenting again. It's not about dynamics, it's not about work, but I actually get more um, engagement on posts that are like that, which are real, than when I'm, posting about whatever it might be, business related. The personal posts always get a lot more, so I do try and do it as much as I can. So
Yeah, I think people get a lot of. I mean, certainly I get like comfort in seeing other people that go through the same things because
they're
it's sort of
suffering.
reassuring that you're not the only one. And yeah, and it's
Yeah.
it's just it's just part of it. And life goes by quickly, and all these phases end up just being phases that you'll look
Mhm.
back and no doubt laugh about.
Yeah.
But it is reassuring to have people just sort of share with you, really. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Our brains are
yeah, good,
wired
good to be
to
authentic.
remember things more fondly. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it again.
100%. Yeah, I'm definitely well aware of me doing that a lot.
So moving on then to the last section, which is smarter, not harder. Your philosophy is all about helping businesses scale smarter, not harder. What does that mean in practice?
So it is, still getting to wherever you want to, whatever. vision you've got for your company, but doing it in a way that is deliberate and harnessing technology particularly to kind of get you there, and or even just actually the right expertise to get you there so that you're not making unnecessary mistakes, and genuinely whatever time you're putting in, you're seeing the results out of that. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's the ethos behind it, and also obviously an ethos that I'm using in my own life as well.
Yeah,
So and it's very true of business, it's very easy to do stuff, but often it doesn't really add any value, or you really do need to question why you're doing it because maybe it's not driving you in quite the direction you planned. So yeah, it's important to reflect and plan and make sure is even review, is it kind of moving me in the right direction? Am I getting the results that I'm seeing? And if not, change of course if needed. And I think that's really how you have to be successful in business, is that you've got to kind of keep getting feedback, keep not just from within the teams, but also with the market as well. Is this meeting the mark, yes or no? And if not, it's fine. Just, go again, basically.
yeah, yeah. About being adaptable, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
So, are there any specific tools, systems, or strategies you use that make your own business feel lighter and more focused?
A lot. I think you mentioned earlier around sort of using marketing, sort of AI around marketing. I mean, definitely, I think social media, any marketing content creation is hugely helpful to use a lot of the tools that exist out there. And I mean, whether it's even just using ChatGPT or something like buffer.com or anything like that, just to kind of take away having to do everything. And just it at least halves what you have to do, which is amazing. I think
Mm,
it's always important to have the human element in there because we know you know what will work and what doesn't, but it definitely gets you a lot further ahead in terms of some of the like the copywriting, and it just accelerates a lot of the sort of the more mundane aspects of it, which is really good. And it is like having an assistant that kind of just keeps ticking on when you're sort of busy with other stuff. CRM is massively important too, and sort of the linking in with
mm.
that whole sort of marketing piece. So yeah, having a good CRM I think is really critical. And yeah, I mean, really every aspect of our business is automated, and that's a combination of just literal automation and using platforms that will, by default have got AI built into it as well, and just trying to constantly just see how we can do things differently. So yeah, so literally every aspect of our business uses a tool to get it done,
Yeah,
whether that's finance or sales and marketing.
amazing. So, if someone listening is standing at the edge of burnout or feeling overwhelmed by growth, where would you suggest that they start?
I think first, yeah, it's being kind to yourself. Your body is genuinely telling you something if you're at that point.
Mm,
And as someone that's actually definitely been there myself, at that point, you can't even think straight. So you
mm,
just need time just to decompress quite a lot and just breathe and just be. And I think getting into nature actually really helps. Just, going for a walk, and that is a huge, I think, hugely, yeah, beneficial thing to do in itself. And just to scale back what you think you need to do, and just again, I think as we said earlier, just be open about where you're at, talk to those around you about how you're feeling. And I think most people, if they know someone's suffering, will generally try and lean in and offer support. But you'll feel like a weight's kind of lifted off you, I think, if you're able to talk about it. And but I think it is super important to kind of like, just listen to your body, because usually our body is more knows before our mind does. And as someone that can push through some quite significant pain barriers, my body is usually the thing that slows me down, not my mind.
yeah, definitely. And it can come out in strange ways, stress,
Yeah,
for sure. Well, that's definitely been very insightful for me and for our listeners. I know that I'll be booking an appointment with you to see how I can streamline my business with AI. But for our listeners, thank you for listening today. If you are thinking about transformation, or if you are thinking about putting AI into your business to help, then please do reach out to either myself or Jane Jawad on LinkedIn. Please make sure that you are following us on YouTube and Spotify. It's D365 Insights by Source and Connect. Thank you again, Jane. Thank you so much for coming on. It was really, really insightful for everybody.
Great. Thank you for having me, Sarah.